This is the second of two short videos talking about how you would come up with the formula for an ionic compound. The first video talked more about how you would determine an ion's charge. So using the periodic table, how you would figure out what the charge on the ion it formed would be. So once you watch that video, come back and watch this one, and we'll talk about how to do formulas. So this is a quick review of how you go about this and the general rules. First, metals are always written first, nonmetals are written last. In my earlier example in my previous video, I talked about the fact that potassium and sulfur get together and form potassium sulfide, or K2S. Notice I've written my metal first and my nonmetal second. I use the lowest whole number ratio of ions, even though I could have maybe come up with the fact that I needed 4 potassiums for 2 sulfurs. That's not the lowest whole number ratio, so I need to divide them by 2 to come up with K2S and the correct formula. The amount of each element is written as a subscript, and the sum of the charges has to add to 0. So my positives and my negatives have to eventually cancel each other out. So, what is the formula of the compound formed by lithium and nitrogen? It's helpful to have a periodic table in front of you while you're watching this, because I'll be referencing one as I go through answering this problem. Lithium is one of the alkaline metals, and so I can see that the ion that it forms is lithium with a +1 charge. Nitrogen is a nonmetal that's 3 spots away from the nearest noble gas, so I see that it'll gain 3 electrons when it forms an ion and become a -3 ion. If we want all of these substances to add to 0, then I need to add some more of each of these in order to get that to happen. Now, I don't think I need any more nitrogens, but if I added 2 more lithiums, then I would have a grand total of +3 coming from my lithiums and -3 from my nitrogens, which would equal 0. Since I have 3 lithiums here, that means I have Li3, and only 1 nitrogen here, so just N. So there's my final formula. What is the formula of the compound formed by magnesium and bromine? I check my periodic table. I see magnesium is an alkaline earth metal. It is always a +2 charge, so I have Mg with a +2. Bromine is one of the halogens. It only needs to gain 1 electron to be like the nearest noble gas, to have the same number of electrons as the nearest noble gas, so it will be a -1. I can add magnesiums, or I can add bromines, or I can add both, but I want my eventual total to equal 0. I don't think I need to add any more magnesiums, but if I add another bromine, then I think of +2 from the magnesium minus 2 from the bromine, that adds to 0. I have 1 magnesium and 2 bromines, which makes this MgBr2.